Bananas have always felt like one of those foods you never have to think about. They're cheap, they're everywhere, and no matter what grocery store you walk into, there's almost always a pile of bright yellow bananas waiting for you. It's hard to imagine a world without them. But appearances can be deceiving. The banana you eat today isn't the same banana your grandparents grew up with. In fact, that banana no longer exists. It wasn't replaced because people got tired of it or because a better one came along. It disappeared because of a disease. Now, more than half a century later, history may be repeating itself. The banana-filling supermarket shelves around the world is facing a threat scientists still can't eliminate. And if they fail to stop it, one of the world's most popular fruits could once again face the same fate as its predecessor. The strangest part is, most people have no idea it's happening. This isn't just the story of a banana. It's the story of how an entire global industry bet everything on a single piece of genetic luck, and why that decision may be finally catching up with us. This is the story of why bananas are disappearing. The problem begins with something most people never realize about the bananas they eat. Today, almost every banana exported around the world belongs to a single variety known as the Cavendish. On the surface, that sounds like good news. One dependable banana feeding millions of people every day. But hidden inside that success was a problem the industry didn't fully understand. Unlike apples or oranges, commercial bananas aren't usually grown from seeds. Instead, farmers reproduce them by taking cuttings from existing plants. Each new plant is genetically almost identical to the one it came from. Nearly every Cavendish banana grown for export is genetically almost identical to every other one. In other words, they're clones. That consistency makes large-scale farming incredibly efficient. Growers know what to expect, shipping companies know when the fruit will ripen, and supermarkets know exactly what they'll receive. Whether you buy a banana in New York, London, Tokyo, or Sydney, it tastes almost exactly the same. For decades, that system looked like the perfect recipe for success. But nature has never been particularly impressed by perfection. When every plant shares the same genetic blueprint, they also share the same weaknesses. A disease that learns how to infect one plant suddenly knows how to infect them all. Imagine trying to protect an entire city where every house has the exact same lock. A burglar only needs to figure out one key. That's the danger of a plantation full of clones. And it's a lesson the banana industry had already learned once before. Long before the Cavendish became the world's favorite banana, another variety ruled grocery stores around the globe. Its name was Gros Michel. And for a while, it seemed unstoppable. For the first half of the 20th century, the Gros Michel wasn't just another banana. It was the banana. Larger than today's Cavendish, with a richer, sweeter flavor and a thick peel that made it remarkably durable. It was perfect for long journeys by ship. As global trade expanded, the Gros Michel became the foundation of a rapidly growing industry. Entire economies across Central and South America were built around growing and exporting it. Demand was exploding. To consumers, bananas seemed like a miracle. They were inexpensive, nutritious, and suddenly available year-round. What had once been an exotic luxury was becoming an everyday food. Then, something invisible began spreading beneath the soil. At first, the warning signs were easy to ignore. A few plants wilted, leaves turned yellow, entire fields began producing less fruit. But the real danger wasn't above ground. It was hiding below it. Farmers couldn't simply spray the fields and solve the problem. The culprit was a soil-borne fungus known as Panama disease. And once it infected a plantation, it could survive in the ground for decades. Even after infected plants were removed, the fungus remained, waiting for the next crop. At first, growers believed they could simply move somewhere else. They cleared new land, they planted fresh fields, and for a while, it worked. Then the fungus followed them. Every time growers thought they'd escaped it, the disease eventually caught up. Every solution bought time, but none of them solved the problem. As plantation after plantation fell, the industry's confidence began to disappear along with the fruit. The banana that had fueled a global business was becoming impossible to grow on the scale the world demanded. The industry needed a replacement. After searching through hundreds of varieties, growers settled on the Cavendish. It wasn't considered the better banana, but it had one critical advantage. It resisted the strain of Panama disease that had destroyed the Gros Michel. Plantations were replanted, supermarkets adapted. Within a generation, the Cavendish had quietly replaced the world's favorite banana. The crisis appeared to be over. It wasn't. The Cavendish hadn't defeated Panama disease. It had only escaped one version of it. While the industry moved on, the fungus didn't. It continued evolving, and eventually, it came back. This time, it returned as a new strain known as Tropical Race 4, or TR4. Unlike the strain that destroyed the Gros Michel, TR4 can infect the Cavendish, and once it reaches a plantation, the outcome is frighteningly familiar. The first signs look deceptively ordinary. Leaves begin to yellow, the plant starts to wilt. Eventually, it collapses. Inside the plant, the fungus blocks the tissues that carry water and nutrients. Slowly, the banana starves from the inside out. Just like the original Panama disease, there is no spray that can eliminate it. No cure. No practical way to remove it once it's contaminated the soil. An infected field can remain unsuitable for growing susceptible bananas for decades. That means the best defense isn't treatment, it's prevention. Farmers disinfect equipment before it enters plantations. Workers clean their boots. Vehicles are carefully monitored. Some farms even restrict access entirely, because a tiny amount of contaminated soil can be enough to carry the fungus from one field to another. Despite those efforts, TR4 has continued to spread across Asia, the Middle East, Africa, Australia, and into parts of the Americas, threatening many of the regions that supply bananas to the rest of the world. The difference this time is scale. When the Gros Michel disappeared, another banana was waiting. This time, there isn't one. At first, the solution seems obvious. If the Cavendish is in trouble, why don't growers simply replace it? After all, there are more than 1,000 known varieties of bananas. Some are sweeter, others are smaller, seedier, or never turn yellow at all. So why not choose one of those? Because growing a good banana isn't the same as growing a successful one. A commercial banana has to do far more than taste good. It has to produce reliable harvests, survive weeks of shipping across oceans, ripen at exactly the right time, resist bruising during transport, and arrive in supermarkets looking almost identical every single time. That's an incredibly difficult combination to find. Many banana varieties fail long before they ever reach a grocery store. Some bruise too easily. Others ripen too quickly. Some produce lower yields that make them too expensive to grow on a large scale. And many simply don't match what consumers have come to expect after decades of eating Cavendish bananas. That's why the Cavendish became the world's standard. Not because it was perfect, but because it could do all those jobs well enough. Researchers continue to study hundreds of banana varieties, searching for traits that might make future bananas more resistant to disease while still meeting the demands of modern agriculture. So far, no single variety has checked every box, which leaves the banana industry with only one realistic option: save the Cavendish. Fortunately, the story doesn't end with a fungus. Around the world, scientists are racing to make sure history doesn't repeat itself. One approach is traditional breeding. Researchers search for wild banana varieties that naturally resist disease and try to pass those traits onto commercial bananas. It's a slow process, partly because the bananas we eat today are largely sterile and don't produce seeds like most fruits. Others are using modern genetic engineering. Instead of waiting decades for the right combination of traits to appear naturally, scientists can introduce genes that help bananas resist TR4. In controlled trials, several experimental varieties have shown promising resistance to the fungus. But creating a disease-resistant banana is only part of the challenge. It still has to grow reliably. It has to survive shipping, it has to ripen at the right time, and it has to be accepted by farmers, supermarkets, governments, and consumers around the world. Until then, prevention remains the industry's strongest defense. Plantations are carefully monitored for new outbreaks. Strict biosecurity measures help slow the spread of contaminated soil. Researchers continue searching the resistant varieties before existing plantations are lost. There isn't a single breakthrough that's going to solve this overnight. Instead, it's a race. A race between a fungus that's been evolving for decades and the scientists trying to stay one step ahead of it. The race isn't over, but neither is the threat. The story of the banana isn't really about fruit. It's about what happens when the world depends on a single genetic blueprint. For decades, that blueprint delivered exactly what the industry wanted: predictable harvests, efficient farming, and bananas that looked the same no matter where you bought them. But the same uniformity that made the Cavendish so successful also made it vulnerable. Nature doesn't care how efficient a system is. It only needs to find one weakness. The banana industry has already survived one global collapse by replacing the Gros Michel with the Cavendish. Whether it can do that again is far less certain. Scientists are optimistic. New resistant varieties are being developed. Better detection methods and stricter biosecurity are helping slow the spread of TR4. There's real reason to believe the banana isn't disappearing from grocery stores anytime soon. But this story leaves us with a reminder that's much bigger than bananas. Uniformity creates efficiency. Diversity creates survival. The next time you peel a banana, remember this. You're not holding the fruit that built the banana industry. You're holding the one that survived it. And whether future generations grow up eating this same banana is a story that's still being written. If you enjoyed this story, I'd really appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to Eat This Story. It helps the channel grow so I can keep sharing the surprising histories hiding in the foods we eat every day. And if there's another food you've always wondered about, let me know in the comments. You might just inspire the next episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.